Welcome back. This week I've been talking about attachment or connection a lot. And in talking with people, it seems a lot of people assume their attachment default is just who they are. It's fixed, consistent, the same across every relationship and every situation. But that's not really how this works. The same person can be reactive with a romantic partner, monitoring, reaching, needing reassurance, and then almost completely detached with a parent. They can be calm and connected with close friends and push-pull with a sibling because of a complicated history. They can hold it together beautifully at work and then default instantly to a different mode of connection when they walk through the door at home. And this is just how the nervous system works. Your attachment system responds to the stakes. The higher the stakes, the louder the alarm. The more you need a person, the more history you have with them, means the more losing the relationship would cost you. So the alarm is louder. And the louder the alarm, the more your oldest pattern shows up. Now, romantic relationships tend to be more activating for people because the vulnerability level is usually higher and your nervous system knows it. Work relationships, on the other hand, tend to activate connection patterns less because the emotional stakes are usually lower. The rules of engagement are clear, so likely more consistent. There's structure at work. You know what's expected, so your nervous system doesn't have to scan as hard. Family relationships are their own category entirely. For a lot of people, family is where the original patterns were built. So walking back into that dynamic can feel like stepping into a time machine. You might be a fully functioning adult in every other area of your life. Well, most areas. I mean, we are humans anyway. But then you might find yourself responding to a parent or sibling the way you did when you were 12 years old. And this is the nervous system, just recognizing the original environment and defaulting to this familiar way of functioning within that environment because of familiar cues. So what do you do with all this information? Well, you start by getting curious. Be curious about which relationships activate you the most. Try not to judge yourself or others in this process. No self-criticizing or blaming anybody. Just notice, where does your default show up the loudest? Where does it barely show up at all? And that difference gives you data. This is all just information for understanding your patterns. Someone with a detached default might show up beautifully for a friend in crisis and then completely shut down when their own partner needs that emotional support. Different level of vulnerability. The friendship doesn't activate the same alarm. It's not the same level of intimacy. Someone with a reactive default might barely think twice about a friend not texting back for a couple of days. But if a romantic partner goes quiet for even 2 hours, the monitoring starts, scanning for how this relationship is going to end. The difference is the stakes, what the relationship means to the nervous system. A push-pull pattern might be almost invisible at work where things feel structured and predictable, and then show up loudly in a close friendship or family relationship where rules are less clear and the history runs deeper. None of this is random. It is just your nervous system being very consistent with what it learned about safety in each specific type of relationship. If you are reactive in romantic relationships, but detached with family, that tells you something about where your nervous system feels most exposed. And if you're calm and connected with friends, but push-pull with a partner, that tells you something about what intimacy triggers for you specifically. We are not just one pattern in a box. We are people with nervous systems and experiences, and we learned different things in different relationships, and so we respond accordingly. So practically, the work is about paying attention to which relationships activate which responses in you, becoming more familiar with them, knowing that which activations bring what kind of connection in your relationships. And when you bring more awareness into those specific moments, then you can start making different choices. Referring to my video from yesterday that goes into the various body signals, once you know your body signals, you can start to map where those signals are showing up the most and with whom. And that's the next layer. So, all right, until next time, I love you, take care of yourself, and I'm sending you peace and light. I'll see you in the next video.